If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
I'm Megan Gleason, an assistant business editor here at the Albuquerque Journal. Thanks so much for watching this Business Outlook podcast episode, which is sponsored by the Central New Mexico Community College. Today with me I have Solomon Gbara, who's an up-and-rising entrepreneur in New Mexico. He's recently been accepted into an international entrepreneur program and has a foot in New Mexico's startup ecosystem. Enjoy the episode.
CNM is truly one college with infinite possibilities in tech and data sciences. CNM offers programs where everyone can learn about software, apps, or how to build websites. You can also choose from AI programs and machine learning, the Internet of Things, and so much more. CNM, one college, infinite possibilities, and a proud sponsor of the Albuquerque Journal's Business Outlook.
Solomon, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and this is actually the first time we've met and had a conversation because I saw your post on LinkedIn about some of the work you're doing.
Yeah, I'm grateful you reached out. Thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah, New Mexico is a small world too, so. But I think maybe a good place to start with your story is your current studies at UNM, right, in the business administration field. How did you get involved there?
Yeah. I'll start there. So, business student at UNM, studying entrepreneurship specifically, and going into my fourth year, which is insane. I'm so close to graduating. It's super exciting and thrilling. How did I get in? I was raised here in New Mexico. I went to Sandia High School, graduated from the IB diploma program. One of the questions I would ask myself thinking about what career I wanted to go into or study in college was one of my goals is providing as much impact to as many people as possible, and I define impact through positive change in behavior through inspiration. And I thought politics or entrepreneurship were the two things that I was pondering, and I leaned in pretty heavily on the entrepreneurial side going into UNM. So yeah.
And it can be a tough thing sometimes. It's a busy field. It's rapidly evolving. What keeps you going every day? What gets you out of bed despite the challenges?
Yeah, that's a good question. The people in the community that I have around me is definitely a huge part of that. I think upskilling the people around me and challenging myself through the difficult problems that come across. I mean, that's why we do what we do. The challenge makes it more worth it and more worth the while. So yeah. And through that, I learned so many things about like the different tools I'm using or the different problems I'm tackling and how to reverse engineer how I actually solved it, so I can share with the community, the people in my network, whether that's my siblings and family or people that I'm mentoring or working with. So everyone gets better together.
Yeah. And you're not just studying, right? You're pretty actively involved in the startup community in New Mexico and Albuquerque.
I try to be. Yeah. I was participating in an entrepreneurship incubator program called NMEID, New Mexico Entrepreneurs in Development, driven by a guy named Xavier Lemon. Top tier professional, worked in the tech industry for quite a bit. We learned how to pressure test unmet needs in different industries through customer discovery, market research, even ads too, and that really prepared me for a lot of the things that I'm doing now, and it also helped me learn what it means to be an entrepreneur and how to showcase what I'm building in a way that people around me can understand that through demo day presentations and pitch competitions and things of that nature. Yeah.
Right. And how does it feel to break into the entrepreneur field as a younger person, somebody who doesn't bring like these decades of experience we often see in these types of fields?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's motivating. It's very motivating. I was a part of a marketing boot camp with the New Mexico Startup Factory and the New Mexico Startup Alliance, and we talked about that and what young people bring to the table. And one of the things that came up during that discussion was the energy and the drive to learn and the willingness to fail and fail quickly and share the mistakes that I'm learning along the way. So I try to do that as much as I can and connect with as many people in authentic relationships as I can.
Right. And failure is essential in the startup world. You can't get past it.
It's required.
Yeah. But what sparked my interest, I think, on LinkedIn when I saw your post about the European Innovation Academy that you recently got into. Tell me about that.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. It's a super exciting opportunity. It's a summer study abroad program in Rome. It's an entrepreneurship program. So they try to rally in students who are interested in entrepreneurship, business, to participate in this 2.5-week long program in Rome. You meet people from Silicon Valley and mentors from all over the world. Students from all over the world are applying to participate in the program, and I think it's going to be a huge networking opportunity for me. It's going to allow me to level up the entrepreneur-like skills that I've been building over the last 1.5 years or so, and I'm very excited. I did a lot of fundraising for it, worked with UNM to get a hold of some scholarships and funding to make that happen, and reached out in my community through LinkedIn for help funding it, and I got a lot of support.
Yeah, and your fundraising method, I think, is quite unique as well, because you're not just asking for money, you're also providing feedback on how the event is going, and a 3-part video series, and then a follow-up lunch and learn about it. Like, it's a get and give kind of situation.
Yeah, 100%. And the goal is I participate in the program, take the insights that I'm learning from the people on a global scale and build those relationships and figure out a way to bring that back to New Mexico in a way that's strengthening the entrepreneur-like ecosystem. And I think it's through presentations, a networking, reception event, sharing what I'm learning. Here are the results of participating in a program. And here's why we need more people like me or up-and-coming students and rising stars to participate, learn, grow, and share.
Right. And it's in Rome, right?
That's right, yeah.
So, not a bad location.
No, not a bad location at all, yeah.
Any bucket list items to hit while you're there?
We'll see. I've been super focused on the fundraising side, so I haven't thought too much about it. But I think it'll be an awesome experience. The program's left weekends for us free and open to do whatever it is that we want, hang out and whatnot. So I think there'll be room to do some other fun stuff too.
Sure. Very cool.
Yeah.
And, I also saw on your LinkedIn, you talking about how your Nigerian heritage has played into your role and your journey as an entrepreneur. And you work with the New Mexico Black Chamber of Commerce as well, right? Can you tell me about how your culture and your community plays into your journey?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I think a lot of the people in this community have both inspired and poured into me through mentorship and some of the resources both at UNM and outside of UNM. You mentioned the Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm working currently with the president and CEO, Carla Cossi, over there, and we're learning how to build an organization called Blacks in Tech, helping young professionals in the Black community get connected to Black professionals who are in tech, who are in entrepreneurship, and network and learn from them. So I think it's been a give and take situation with the community. How can I take what I'm learning from these people around me, both at the African American Student Services Center, the Black Chamber, and all of the other organizations, and build something that's giving back to the community in a way that is helping students and rising stars gain the skills required to be successful.
Right. And seeing people that look like you in the field, it's such a major part. I think especially as young people, we really internalize things like that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You mentioned tech, and we were talking before this about Atomic 66. So you participated in this. It was a multi-day event about space and tech and arts and all sorts of things. Tell me, how did that go?
It was a super amazing event, first of all. Thank you for mentioning that. The goal of the program was to build an initiative where we're breaking down the silos of different organizations across the state of New Mexico, especially as it pertains to the tech ecosystem. So how can we merge what I'm doing with Blacks in Tech, the Black Chamber of Commerce, Techaria, and some of these organizations where we're all coming together to build an event that's beneficial for a really wide net of people through space fiestas and some of the work that we were doing at the New Mexico Startup Factory and having climate tech companies and VCs share some of the things that they were learning. So it was a huge event, very, very successful, and I hope to be a part of building more of those here in New Mexico. I had the opportunity to share some of the things that I've been learning through the NMEID program and the software and startup I'm building, ValidSync. And it's through events like those where people like me get an opportunity to share and flex the skill of public speaking and sharing the insights that I'm learning through the programs I'm participating in, or moderating a panel. I moderated a community-based sustainability panel for Atomic 66, and that was a huge learning experience, and it went super well. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I want to talk more about ValidSync, because this is an interesting startup that you're in charge of. What is it?
Yeah, ValidSync. It's a software in the real estate industry specifically. So it came about through this entrepreneurship incubator program, through pressure testing unmet needs, customer discovery. And what it's come down to is, how can I help realtors and other real estate professionals better verify and validate the credentials and licenses of the contractors they're working with. So when they refer a contractor to a prior client that they're working with, they know and trust that they're verified, licensed, and insured, so it doesn't come back to bite them and reduces the liability that they would otherwise receive through what's called a negligent referral, referring an unlicensed contractor to a prior client.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is a really good example of how technology and AI are supporting businesses, because I often hear this idea that AI is going to take away jobs, and then I hear others come back and say, well, no, AI is going to take the jobs of those who aren't utilizing AI, right? So it's like a rapidly evolving, like, we need to adopt this, but think of it more as like a lazy intern, like just double check their work and make sure it's getting it all right, but it's not doing the job on its own.
Yeah, 100%. It extends our skill set and our ability to do the work that we want to do. It doesn't replace it, but it expands our capacity for it. That's the way that I think about it. And it's through the programs that we've mentioned where we need to share some of these things to the younger generation, or really anyone in the community. Maybe folks haven't even touched ChatGPT and are fearful of it taking over their job. You won't really know unless you mess with it, test it, etc. And I think it's having a pretty positive mindset about it, and having the curiosity to learn about what it is, how it works, and how can we use it to build up our community.
Right. Education is a big part of the battle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So coming into your fourth year at UNM, do you have any plans ahead of you? Are you wanting to stay in New Mexico, travel?
That's a good question. Yeah. I'll likely travel right after graduating for a little bit. In terms of staying in New Mexico, I want to help the ecosystem here in the state. So I want to figure out a way to do that, whether that's incorporating ValidSync and what I have currently and building that here and expanding from there. But we'll see. Yeah, likely we'll be here.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the challenges that the New Mexico ecosystem currently faces?
That's a really good question. One of the things that come to mind are the silos that I mentioned before, silo being defined by systems that don't talk to each other, groups or organizations that don't talk to each other. At least that's how I defined it. And it really comes down to having a difficult time communicating what are the resources out there that can help young folks like me see the amazing opportunities that we have here in the state of New Mexico, whether that's through workforce connections, where employers can set up an internship program for a student who's interested in interning with them, and and the state will pay to hire that intern for that small business owner, reducing their costs and load. That's just like one example of an amazing opportunity that a lot of students could benefit from knowing about and utilizing it in order to benefit their careers or even their startups. So how can we get different organizations across the state that have amazing resources and a lot of things to offer professionals to connect, build events together, and share? It's not just me, but it's we, and here's what we have to offer for everyone to
Right.
build whatever it is that they want to build.
Yeah, it's kind of what Atomic 66 was going for in this space and tech field. But it's so funny because New Mexico is such a small state and we have such a small community. But one of the recurring barriers I talk with people about is just that nobody's talking to each other. And we're trying to break through that and get everybody to come together and work together to better the state.
Yeah. 100%. And that's it. That's the goal of Atomic 66. That's the goal of New Mexico Tech Talks. How can we build an initiative where we're bringing the people who are driving on these organizations together so we can coexist and co-create startups, businesses, and an ecosystem that isn't reliant on, I need to know this one person that is connected to whatever organization.
Right. Yeah. Well, Solomon, thanks so much for being here. It's so refreshing, I think, to hear from a young rising entrepreneur in the state.
Thank you so much for carving out the time. I really appreciate it.